while expecting a change overnight. Last government had damaged everything. Where are the popular El Rufai bosses? Goodluck Jonathan left. NLC should talk of refineries to work, but yes, they never did. They never do it, okay? Yeah, but yet they never did it, okay? I think something like that is the last point you're making. Kunda from Kwali says, good morning, FMD. Listening to President Tinubu last night gave me a rekindled hope and assurance that things will indeed turn around for good very soon. I didn't vote for him either, but I'm beginning to understand the painstakingly likes of his moves. Bibi Kunda from Kwali did write that in. Moses Simon from Maraba says, Happy New Month to all Nigerians and Nigeria. Please, can you play the president's speech? Oh, I just did play it, okay? Noble from Gwagwalada said, good morning, FMD. Our legislative arm is our greatest problem. They don't checkmate the excesses of the executive arm. Imagine the kind of screening they did for the ministers. It's not just justified at all. OJ says, good morning, Nigeria. For the only palliative I need is our refineries to work. Good morning, FMD. What did El Rufai want from Southern Kaduna? Let him go and Mrs. Jarumi from Cuba did write that in. Good morning, FMD. My name is Abdulaziz from Maraba. I'm astonished Mr. Tinubu did not mention fixing our comatose refinery in the nationwide broadcast. I urge NLC to maintain the status quo. Tinubu is not serious. Good morning, FMD. Presidential address. It's unclear that this is damage control mechanism. Now you understand how weighty is the word gun meant in a complex country like Nigeria. He never mentioned revamping our refineries, and that shows that something is fundamentally wrong. And the corruption within the oil sector, Mr. President killed the corruption within the oil sector, not Nigerians. Joe Light from Karimu did write that in. Asala from South said Nigerians will not regret appointing Tinubu as president. We all know that because the work that person did before, that is, we can credit him because our president is the former governor of Lagos State. He worked for Lagos, unlike other people. It's from Adamawa and Peter B from South. How is there a good South in support like small London? But wanting to go for protest illegal. They should go and sit down for them. All right, Asala, just take your time in messages, please. This is one of the most, reading I've had to do. I'm just going to leave. Mommy Divine from Cuba says, good morning. Hope Nigerians are reading in between that some of these politicians are not after the interests of Nigerians, but after their own. For me, I don't see Wike as someone that has integrity. He betrayed PDP, and nothing wrong with that. Backs to it. Thank God I'm not a politician, and I don't intend to be. Okay, now the Niger Republic, if they're the stop former President Muhammadu well believed run to ECOWAS and Niger Republic alone, they said already love what had happened. Let them chart their democratic path. Wilson from Asokoro did write that in. Rookie from Lugbe says, FMG, please, what's the name of the lady speaker? Her name is Havi, yeah? Please help me with her name. Her name is Havi, Havfy. Okay? Yeah, that was quite. Vivian just had to rope me into that. Ben from Garki says, Family, good morning. My take is this form of communication by our president is not acceptable. It's one of the relic rule. What our president should be doing, what they want to communicate to us is press conference like the ones done in order that will create opportunities for the pressman's questions. Average citizens, so it can respond to them. This form of address should only happen on a day and at the democratic days of the day. Any other form of national holiday. This form of communication to us should. Thank you. Ben from Garki did write that in. Good morning, Senator Tinubu's speech is full of deceit and that Nigerians should not believe him. What another person writing now. All right, well, let's leave it at that. Messages with regards to not accepting is. But last night, okay, so two things to quickly mention. The meet with they didn't the team from the president, which had the likes of the chief of staff to speak about how things are going in terms of their negotiations. I'll play what they said after their meeting. But after the president's speech last night, NLC also did release a press, okay? So let's listen to what they said after what the president's team, and then what they now decide after the president's speech last night. Take a listen and just what the NLC president said. They did meet with executive, or should I say, members of the executive arm of government indication of what to be done. Take a look.
This is Morning Crossfire.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, we just adjourned to listen to Mr. speech and then our conversation by our peaceful rally will go on. Even if we didn't have this problem and we decide, we still hold our rallies. So it has been fixed for second. We'll go ahead to hold our rally.
I don't know whether you went to pass upon this. I know one of the petitioners. The president announces providing 100 naira for 3,000 How many impact?
3,000 will be for Lagos. 36 states and FC. So if that is, because I have not listened to, if that is the situation, 3,000, and that will not go to rural areas.
You're also saying that the impact of inflation, gas prices,
As part of macroeconomic what? By the time you have a skate and then you are not doing anything that has comparative advantage, your energy is import driven. How are you going to control it? Control somebody that is changing dollar at the extent of maybe, are you going to tell him to sell at a low price? How are you going to NEPA today with a cost option, not to increase tariff? Even corn in the village sold at 18,000 by barrel. Now it's about 56,000. How you control the woman that goes from and transportation in 3 times to reduce? So we need to, those, probably because we have not listened to Mr. President's speech. By the time we listen to it, we understand, where it's going to. But it's important that this, for us to equally tell you. And we're talking of practical economy, unless you tell us the issue of checking the production and then the refineries working properly, the CNG option, which will bring down cost of transport. By the time you do all these things, you can gradually see. And what is the cost, purchasing power, the worker? Can a worker still go to work? All those ones, maybe that's why we say, and take them holistically, and continue the conversation.
you have mentioned but what are the main exceptions that
Well, the NLC have been in the barrack for years. Protests cannot, because I don't know of any that are more than us and hijack our protests. Somebody is going to instigate that. The NLC rallies and protests in the history, the hijacked language. Each time we want to protest, that's the language we hear, that our protest hijacked. Now, when you have fashion, as a citizen, police, DSS, what is their duty to protect for us, to make sure that, and that's the duty of the Nigerian DSS. And I hope that in particular instance, they will prove for us so that this protest will be, in the light. But I think
This is Morning.
All right. Pretty much how you would find the NLC president about how things will. Now, following that speech last night, the NLC did release this along the lines of what they make as speech, okay? As a speaker, there were speculations that the speech may talk about 3,000, may talk about and that, and he also provided some reasoning of if this is their status be. They did release a statement, and I'd like to read for you part of what the statement from the NLC did for 31st of July 2023. It talked about review for the 20 review. Okay, wait, hold on for a moment. Yeah, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's not silver bullet that are not expected. A review of broadcast by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu leaves the impression that the promise assurances made by President Tinubu are the silver bullet that Nigerians expect. This speech indeed appears to be out of touch with reality and anomalous with the hardship and suffering most Nigerians are going through now. First, the opening statement by President Tinubu conveyed a commitment to a better productive economy. We expect the next line of statement will be how the president plans to resuscitate our refineries, which have been lying comatose for many years, and is the major pain in the whole subsidy narrative. Unfortunately, that speech by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu completely silent on the issue of the repair of national refineries. Second, consistent with our perceptions, alignment of Mr. President's promises offerings to the reality faced by of workers and ordinary Nigeria was the failure of President Tinubu to ask those behind the looting of Nigeria's Commonwealth under the guise of subsidy. It is unacceptable for the President and Commander-in-Chief to lament like ordinary Nigerians about that Mr. President routinely referred to in his speech as the elite of the elites, who have stolen much from Nigeria that have become so powerful as to constitute a threat for democratic governance. What's expected from Mr. President is a commitment to bring those economic to justice and recover what they've stolen. Third, Mr. Statement on working with organized labor to review the national minimum wage is out with what has played out since President removed the so-called petrol. In all meetings, now hold on for a minute, let me get to page 2 of the, page 2 of the page 2 of this talks. In all meetings scheduled by the government, organized labor has been forced to negotiate the chairs of the federal government as the federal government has not matched the promises with firm commitment to negotiate in good faith with. As a matter of fact, the subsidy on wage award has not meted and has not met. Furthermore, organized labor is disturbed that while Mr. President Tinubu in his speech lavishly praised the private sector for quickly dispensing work to their employees, federal government has failed to do the same for public in its employment. There is a clear failing woefully to live up to that it has said to others to. It's open knowledge that the review of the minimum wage is a matter of law expected to happen in 2024. How will Nigerian workers cope with the current of hyperinflation and suffering by the hasty removal of the so-called subsidy to 2024? The national minimum wage will be reviewed. This is incredible. Fourth, the claims mentioned by the federal government through the palliatives and loans and grants to poor Nigerians, big manufacturing concerns and small businesses, action of CNG buses remain our promises. Nigeria used to such promise, which has never produced any viable or meaningful changes of citizens. For many Nigerians, it's incomprehensible. The principal actors in the current government, the President himself, were clear in 2012 on the need to tackle the issues that brought about subsidy. I'll conclude on this. Stay with me right here on the FM. I'll be back. Good morning with FMD Live.
One Estate and property developers now units of 4-bedroom terrace duplex on. We are excited to.
It's Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. This is 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 Nigeria Info.
President of the NLC. I read the first part, the first page, and now I'm second page. The fifth point he makes this. He says, fifth, For many Nigerians, it is incomprehensible that the principal actors in the current government, including Mr. President himself, clear in 2012 on the need to the fundamental issues that brought about subsidy. Those issues led the failure of the previous government to our national refineries and bring down the monumental subsidy sleaze. Today, these were swept under the carpet in President's speech. Nigeria wonders what has changed. Finally, we assure Nigerians that Nigerian Labour Congress is committed to marching with government with the current rise of sufferings that Nigerians are going until we see the real government to do the needful to a lot of Nigerians and the sufferings of workers and ordinarians that are going through. We're committed to continue struggle. Comrade Joe Ajero, President. That's how that comes written on the letterhead of the end, dated the 31st of 2023. The times are changing. In the meantime, former President Muhammadu Buhari has already been speaking about the situation as we have it in the Niger Republic. In fact, it did put out through Garba, if not mistaken, but let me read some of the things that were said. And of course, Ahmed also did quote on such as well. But the crux of is how do I put it now? Some of his speech talked about the safety concerns for the president, that they held hostage. And he talks about, let me summarize by saying, concerns have been raised to the fate of democracy as a system of government change, and in the wider sub-region, and equal so about the safety of President Buzan and his family, Zuma and his family, His Excellency Buhari. That's part of what he said with respect to things going on and there, as I would say, in the likes of Niger, how he feels about it, okay? But he put up the full statement on our Twitter, and I and my family are much concerned, as is everyone else, is to note that the ECOWAS, under the leader of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is already actively with the matter, and I hope and pray that the unwanted situation will become reversed and the safety and well-being of Bazuma and his family are assured. Former President Muhammadu pretty much writing the Republic and to the north, okay? And there. I know I can't take on the NLC to say, I can't take on the ministerial screening. You can count on the team. I SWAT yesterday. She did an excellent job in pointing out some of the things that were being said and walked you through the ministerial screening happen live. My presumption is that she was carrying on that today. Along with Fizi. At the time, the shows will cross into to cover much of those details for you, understand what is going on. And there's good light to wonder about who would eventually the minister of the FCT will be able to speak to about the FCT in somewhat at the end of the day. These are how critical of the issues going on in the country. You have the NLC saying, well, we're going to carry on with that. And if there's anybody else that jacks, well, let the police safeguard us. You also have President saying everybody should. A lot of you are saying the president's speech was not spoken of, but there was not time in that speech where the word was mentioned. I have checked and over again. The word review was not mentioned at any point in. Now there was any talk of but there was lots of talks about subsidy. There were talks about solutions. No solution is good enough for you. Let's follow you. I'm streaming live, by the way, on YouTube and Facebook. So if you're there, I could read what you and your comments about some discussions. In the meantime, let's go back to the fans and also to the WhatsApp portal to read what you're writing about this situation and how you feel about how things are evolving even now across the country. The lines are open. Feel free to join me. From Kuje did write, and he says, besides, I don't think this man is talking about what he's saying. Is it your that will bring the bag of corn down and of his own interest and open door for Hula? Kuje did say that. Do their protest peacefully. It should not be included in politics. Kuje expressing his viewpoint on that. Good morning to you.
Dr. Femi from Gwagwalada.
All right, welcome.
The Mr. President, it will not address the current socio-economic this subsidy removal has caused serious inflation. Traders, marketing who truncate between commodity discount markets transact business because hard public transportation. This demonstration cannot be sustainable. Do you believe in prison people to this kind of hardship perpetually? Nigeria, Dr. Femi MLA, all rich countries, a strategic country, but there is no solution inside. Is addition of pays upon pay on Nigeria. What kind of country are we? Why our leaders suffering from lack of sight and strategy of finding of issues? And the entire speech, the way you say it, don't mention refinery is a conspiracy against the ruling class in this issue. We have in the same country. We cannot be the oil check. There are some elements who are behind this thing. They are making this allegation.
Let's take on the
economy, and then they are transferring the burden on the ordinary.
All right.
It's not sustainable.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your viewpoint. Okay. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Good morning to you. Good morning.
Good morning. Once again, what class, Dr. Famale? I remember humble self, Abubakar Ali. I'm calling from PW Code this morning. Let me start by praying to Mighty not to punish us by the words of some of our own people who doesn't appreciate what God has done for us. As also Hamidi, we have president in this country spent good 8 years. He doesn't even tell him whether the country is boiling or suffering or going through challenges to come and address them. Here, a president that feels the pulse of at every interval, he will first statement. When he offers statement, some people will criticize that one that did not offer for. Were you able to hold him for anything? I begin to wonder. Some will say they will never see anything good in this government. By the grace of God, they will never see anything good. But I wish the government good. We have to see something good. You understand? I will never use my mouth to say I'm suffering. No, I'm going through challenges. I know I'm going glad. But that's not the end. But to say I'm suffering, my brother, I will never use my mouth to say I'm suffering. But I'm going through challenges like several million. I pray that come to our rescue as a nation, got the heart of our leaders to begin to do what. May God continue to bless Nigeria Info. May God continue to bless First Government and God and Israel. All right. Maybe we appreciate you and your entire colleague, the fact that no salary has been added, are hiding your pains and giving us hope and joy. May God visit homes and give you the best too. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, as a jury judgment, by the grace of God, they will smile at Femi. Thank you. Make I hear say no go. Make I hear say no go connect.
Our matter cannot end like. All right. Thanks for your viewpoint on this. I don't know. Yes, there's mentioned the salaries. And are you working for any private organization that has increased salaries? Two banks were mentioned this week. Now time to increase salaries of their workers or their junior staff. But who has had an increase in salary thus far? Does anybody know that works for the sector? I don't know if that experience you're having where you work is working, okay? On Facebook, Caplex Judex says, watching live from Enugu State. Thanks for being right. Okay, thank you as well. Okay. Israel Joseph's broadcast same as usual, no mention of our refugees, which means importation of fuel continue. If he is one of them that have been stealing the money in the next city, be made open and known to Nigeria. Yeah, that's what you do. Let them be made known to Nigeria. Sorry, moment come around to this. Be made known to Nigerians. Then recycling those that has plundered this country back unacceptable. Jaya Jufu says 100 support of Labour to go on with the protest because we doubt this thing will come out of all the promises made by the president this year. Kubis Bauchi says, good morning, FMD. Good job. Keep it up. Body says, good morning, FMD. Please, why is it difficult for the president to talk about refineries? Proven as well. The subsidy cabals, which is bane of them now. Thank you. Onubudusi Alaji did right then. Sunday Koro kicks president's speech, in my view, is below the belt. The NLC has the right to protest as the constitution give room for peaceful assembly. Court is equally the right to provide security to its citizens. Security agencies should do their job protecting the protest. Good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Mr. David.
Welcome, Mr. David.
Femi, I want to find the here 3,000 buses in Nigeria.
It didn't say for the owners. It talked about 3,000 units. Wait, let me go to that paragraph again. It's paragraph 7 of that speech. Just give me a moment. Keep talking. Let me read it out. It said 3,000 units of 20 CNG fueled buses. Okay, that's part of the program's rural buses. The states and locals for mass transit as much affordable rates. As we have made provision to invest 100 billion between now and March 2024 to hire 3,000 units of 20 CNG fueled buses.
Okay, if it is so, We have about 100 local government in Nigeria.
794. 774 local government.
So if it is almost 4 point something, presently 4.5, may that be enough to help Nigeria in this situation? And each state has most, like Kano has over 40 local or 30 something.
Kano has 44 local governments.
44 local government. Even Abuja cannot be, even if they divide it to the local government, even staff them because that is get to the city center. Those that want to go forward to Kuje cannot even from it. The government thinking very well in that. Seriously, it is not going to help us.
All right.
That's the way I look at it anyway.
Thank you so much. Yes, there are questions about the 1,000 buses. I mean, why place 3,000 buses? I was looking at it again. I said, I wanted to be sure that he said minimum of 3,000 units, but it didn't use the word minimum. We've made provisions to 100 billion between now and 24 to acquire 1,000 units of 20 CNG fueled buses. Okay, if my math serves me right, and I hope it doesn't fail me on this, I'm saying 100 billion now will be used to acquire 3 units of 20 seats. Yeah, I mean, 100 billion is said, not 100 million. Yeah. How? Somebody should help me out here. 100 billion going to be used in March 2024 to acquire 3,000 units of 20 CNG fueled buses. I know this can be expensive, but let me just get back to you guys now. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Dr. Femi Diamele.
Welcome, Mr. Paul.
Thank you. Femi, you talk about anything subsidy without fixing a refinery. I think it's maybe defeat as usual. It is either our refineries is no longer work, either we can't establish anyone. And then when you talk about the subsidy, I mean you really, and the people who importing the fuel and selling the fuel products, they can sell it at any price. If they decide today is 1,000 naira, today is 2,000 naira, then you are receiving remove subsidy, there's control. Because subsidy, they can sell it 7, they can sell it 1,000 whatsoever. Remove subsidy, there's no control. These are questions we should be able to answer. Because the president is here, we don't pitch and deliver. No provision questions to be asked for him to answer. Yeah, it was just crafted and given to come and deliver to Nigeria. He got on this boat. These are the questions.
Yeah, there's no proof they'll do it on his own. Mr. Paul, I understand your reason about the speech, but there's critical words that say he's a cut on his own because some of the things he read out are still very close to things he has said of well. So it's not that he cannot do it on his own. Be very inaccurate because he has spoken.
He would have come up to a question. So it's very important. You have removed subsidy and the road is good. Whatsoever you the program you have, all these programs we had Shopee. Where is the Shopee?
All right.
Buhari received there was no any palliative whatsoever.
Okay. Mr. Paul, let's with you. Thank you. All right. Okay. Good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Femi. Dear me.
Good, and you, sir?
Thank you. I'm okay. This is Sisi, the good master. Paul, apologize for the other day. Please forgive me. It's never intentional. Sometimes, where we are. Anyway, I'll apologize.
No problem. Go on.
It's all right. Mr. Femi, question is not like Mr. Tinubu making promises and all that. It's just like somebody said, let's do work, not alone. But the question I asked, Tinubu and APC and their member voters can charge or arrest voters who see public funds, just like that. When it comes to the new court, trials, possibly jail, and whatever is covered, and Tinubu do, because we can't believe that. It's just mere talk.
Okay.
Mere talk, because we've been hearing that. Can they do that? Because party and the people that does not obey the rule of law, who will achieve, for God's sake? We've seen the way they are screaming their name, power and go.
Thank you, Austin. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your time. By the way, somebody with the maths, it says the cost of us, based on the statement that you had, whatever it will take one bus in, it will be 33.3 million naira. That's what he writes in. Thanks. And maths can be very interesting sometimes. Good morning to you.
Hello, Femi. Good morning.
Yes, good to you.
Yeah, this is Chinedu.
All right, Chinedu. Yes.
Mr. Femi, you say it anytime I call for this reason. I say, if I would say that he has a good intention for Nigeria, why is it that, what is that case? As they unravel the circumstances behind the let them unravel the circumstances behind something that can make our refinery work. Femi, I go Google it. There's about something countries in this is producing crude oil. It's only Nigeria out of that 77 that produces crude oil. What is the problem, Femi?
Refine? You mean that doesn't refine is crude?
That are doing that tomorrow they will tell you that it is. Next tomorrow they will tell you that. Is there any government that leads? Please, somebody kindly tell me that government that they are producing or not. That's them putting our refineries in order. Nothing like palliative. There's nothing like anything that will make this exit come down. So anybody should need to tell me that, yeah, don't worry, they will do that. If that boss, how it will cover? So within this road, can you see the amount of weapons on the road that will on only the boss that federal government will bring? The only thing that they will tell us and that this government will do that this country is to tell us that
we've got to go.
Next 2 months that this will work.
All right. Thank you, sir. Chinedu.
We're going to move on this way. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, interesting time, and I'll be back after this break in about just around the fair on what you've written in. To all those who did run their calculations by, and also Emeka from Benin Republic, I think I should be able to get back to reading in a short while from now. Stay with us right here for that 5.2, and after the break, I'll just to round up for every one of us for today.
This is an announcement.